Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Monster Noire, the City of Mists, Part 1 of our second season of this show. That's right, we finally are moving on past season 1, even though it's been like 2.5 years in the making, but that's because you're going to get regular updates to this show once a week for the next however long this mini-series ends up running us. Today is July 15th, 2021, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, including full playthroughs of Crisp Strahd, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, our Masks the Green Sun campaign, as well as many, many more, and many more to come. We are also available anywhere audiocasts are made available for free. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us again at patreon.com/indooradventures. But if you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on Twitch and YouTube and all of those other wonderful spaces, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this incredible show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and we also have face masks. I would have one to grab. I recently changed my desk, so I don't know where it is, but I'll find that, I'm sure, somewheres around here soon. We also have a huge variety of Pride merch as well, so if you are feeling like wanting to let other people know that they are loved as well, hey, come down and check the merch store. Also, all of the proceeds from those masks end up going to help support Doctors Without Borders, so if you would like to help support a good cause or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, Satan, who are you playing today?
Hi everyone, my name is Satan, and today I will be playing Lilith, the Vampire Queen. She uses she/her pronouns, and I use she/they pronouns.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings. I'm going to be playing as Dot Flannery, the Unaware-Wolf. No, I will not explain that. She/her for both.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I'll be playing Beltane Hawthorne, the mobster fae. I go by she/her, and he goes by he/him.
And I am the indoor adventurer, he/him, and tonight I shall be playing as Ezekiel Sullivan, a Lone Star. We both use he/him.
And that leaves me, GB, and I will be the rest of the universe of Monster Noire. Let's just talk for just a second about the setting and stuff. We are using the City of Mist system now. We're coming off 2 years.
I think it's like 2.5?
2.5 years.
You know, of one-shots.
of one-shots, playing once a month, roughly, and such. So there is a plethora of backstory and things going on here. So it used to be a very, very completely improv show. We're going to try to keep that spirit, but we're also going to try to encapsulate the City of Mist system so that people out there can, kind of go, ooh, what's this? And how does this work? So basically there is a veil. In City of Mist, it would be the mist. The veil covers the world and keeps mundanes and supernatural beings from seeing each other. Your cab driver might be a troll. Your newsboy might be a goblin, and you would never know. So in the City of Mist systems, there's mythos and there's logos, and your logos is who the people in the real world would see and would know and interact with, and the people behind the veil would see your mythos, who you are, in a supernatural sense. And as you can tell, our fine players all have different things going on, and some people have a much higher level of one or the other. And there are mundanes, muggles, so on and so forth, who are unaware completely. With all that said, the setting is going to be in the 1940s, post-World War II. This is an alternate history where our players almost stopped World War II. Almost. But we've made some decisions and we've moved past. So it's the Casablanca, the 1940s noir, black and white, detective stories and whatnot, but with supernatural elements. So with that said, with the setting proposed, let's hear the rhythm. Clack, 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 clack. We're hearing, this beat, this thump, 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 thump. And we start to realize in the darkness of the scene that there's a train. We feel the motion, the rocking of the train. Maybe, woo, we hear the steam off. And we enter into the train car as we're seeing at night. We're seeing the lights of the train cars go by. And we stick with one car as it zips past. And we look in the window. We move in through the window. And Zeek, what do we see?
So Zeek, he probably stands maybe like 5'10", 5'11". He's on the taller side, but he's not standing right now. He's sort of sitting on a back car. He has his hat pulled down over the brim of his eyes. He's trying to get some shut-eye in, just sort of like letting himself get rocked to sleep by the shaking of the train car. The one thing that you can see about him as well is that he wears this kind of red bandana around his neck, mostly because he's from out west and, coal is a thing that happened out there. You should probably have some sort of breathing apparatus to keep your mouth, to keep like other germy pathogen things from getting in, Maybe he got it at the adventure store. Who knows? But he's wearing like a long brown duster. Very much looks like a cowboy that you would see on the front of like a Western novel. But he is wearing these clothes unironically. This is just kind of him.
It's not a brand new duster.
No,
you try to keep clean. This duster's seen some horse hiney.
Oh yeah, no. And like on his face, he has darker skin, a more pointed beard that seems to have graying spots coming in towards his sideburns as well as like from the sides of it as well. But he is just in the middle of trying to get to sleep, possibly taking a nap, one of the two. But you can't really tell. He could also be one of those people who just like, maybe that guy's asleep. Maybe he's just resting really well right now.
It's a wolf nap.
Yeah, wolf nap.
All right. And as we move past, kind of slide in to try to see his eyes, but we can't because we're invisible because we're the audience and we can do this. We slide past and we move a few rows back. What do we see, Dot?
We see a young woman wearing overalls with a kind of white collared shirt underneath. Her hair is curly but pinned up with a handkerchief. The hair is a sort of reddish brown. Her eyes are also brown. And her clothes, which are work clothes, are stained with what appears to be ink spots. And I think that she's sort of leaning back a little bit, like holding a newspaper. and like she just keeps on flipping through the pages and sort of like turning it over, and like it becomes clear to anybody watching her that she's not actually reading the newspaper, she's critiquing it, and she's just like, the kerning, this is awful, like, is this what passes for newsprint these days? And she's just like flipping it over and just treating it like the rag it is.
Now, does she have a package with her? How would the piece or part that she is coming back to town with something she had to go and get?
Right. It's a very conspicuous, like, large round object that's all wrapped up with butcher paper and kind of tied down with twine, and it has been shoved up into like the luggage area of the train, and it is just like sort of like hanging off a little bit, like it's definitely not like in the compartment the way that it's supposed to be. But like she refused to let the baggage carrier, or like she refused to let it go with luggage, like it
Right.
had to be carry on.
Okay. And we see, as she's looking at we move up and we see this thing, and the train does a bump, and it jumps just enough to where we're like, oh my God, it's gonna fall and kill her any minute now. And she is completely unaware of the danger that is above her head. From the train, we'll say you're flipping the newspaper and such, and we kind of look out the window, and the motion kind of ceases, and we see the full moon. A full moon out over, in the sky with some wispy clouds and whatnot. And we transport, we kind of move to the moon and then drop. Lilith, where are you? And what do you look like?
Oh God, I didn't expect my introduction to happen so quickly. Lilith would be, I feel like at first you look at the moon from the train, and then you look back down, it changes location to this big, very gothic-like castle. As you go in through the windows, you see that it has been redecorated on the inside, so it's a bit more modern, but it still has that old vampire charm. But you slowly start hearing the clacking of heels on the stone floor. And you see Lilith in a very form-fitting 40s black dress that cuts off right about mid-calf with heels, her hair done up in like finger waves. And she has now this white streak that on the front of her hair, but still that immaculate red lipstick that she always has. She's looking through a few papers as she's walking, and you see people behind her, and she's giving them tasks to do, papers to return, letters to send, and just business on the move.
Are they now? Can we tell as the audience that Lilith is vampire, or is this? Are we seeing Lilith like not beyond the veil, in front of the veil?
If she were covered by the veil,
Mm-hmm.
she would just look like a very pale woman, fair skin, hazel eyes, and just rounded ears. But looking through the veil, you start seeing those signs of like those red slitted eyes, the white skin, the pointed ears, and the fangs coming out whenever she talks or smiles.
And so as we see, the red lips and all, and we slide sideways, maybe we get a glimpse, like we're looking at Technicolor,
Mm-hmm.
and like the real world in Technicolor, and then we slide past the veil and it becomes more noir,
Mm-hmm.
and we see those little telltale vampire bits. the other people in the line, her assistants and whatnot, are they a mix of people and vampire? All people, all vampire?
They're a mix of humans, regular humans and vampires, and a few other supernatural creatures.
Excellent. So, a history type question. So, has she kept the orcs and goblins around also?
Yes.
Okay.
She has taken them in and not restarted with a new company, but expanded in a way.
Okay.
So now she does have humans and vampires. Not her, not the people she's turned, but
Right.
vampires that have come to work for her.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Okay. And as we move down the line of the assistants and sycophants and such of the Lilith court, we then swing wide and we see like a sconce with a torch or whatever, flickering light, a lantern or whatever, and with leaden glass, and we sweep into that, and it kind of changes into window frames. And as we move in, we see these more golden-esque lights on the inside of this set of windows, and above the door, we see, what does the Beltane's tailor shop? Does it have a name?
It's just Hawthorne's Tailors.
Hawthorne's Tailors. We see the Hawthorne's Tailor sign. We move down and we pass through the golden glass of the window and sweep into the upstairs of the establishment. I assume you live upstairs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We sweep in. What's our surroundings and who and what do we find there?
Within these surroundings, there's a myriad of bookshelves, candles, incense, markings of what looks to be half circles on the ground, what looks to be handprints that periodically just kind of dot themselves across the wall. And then a little shadow cat kind of bounds in and out of the shadows, playing with a mouse that they found. And sitting at a desk, kind of measuring out some cloth, is a taller man. Well, he would be a man if not for his pointed ears and yellow eyes. His skin's a very light brown. His hair is a curly orange. And he's fiddling with this cloth and hands it over to somebody who just takes it and disappears with it, comes back with the correct measurements, and he pins it up and marks it down, wraps it up and places mistletoe into the bow, and says, "Give this to Mr. Smith. Make sure he has the mistletoe on him tonight."
Beautiful, beautiful. And as we follow the back of the individual walking away from Beltane, they, like within a step, they become the train conductor, and the train conductor steps into the car, and he's very old. He seems to shamble a bit, and ticket, and he's stopping, ticket, and punch, and hole punch, and ticket, as he's walking down aisle to aisle. Zeek, the conductor stops at you, and there's a smell. The smell of death, and you hear ticket, and it rasps and it hisses like a death rattle almost.
I think Zeke sort of like tilts his hat up a little bit to get a good look at this guy.
Yeah.
And like hands him his ticket, but is just very like watching every move that this dude makes. Like, he's not, I wouldn't necessarily say that he's biased towards the undead. Many people have found a use for the undead. Is this a useful one, or is this going to be a problem?
And we see that play across his face, and as the as we then look up as the audience and look up to see this individual. It's a goddamn zombie. This is like emaciated, and they reach their hand, the leathery hand, out and take the ticket, and they punch it, and they have a rictus smile. Have a nice ride. And he hands the ticket back. And he turns, and as he turns, we see the veil cover him again, and he takes ticket, and moves through. Dot, can you see beyond the veil?
She can.
Okay. As you're flipping the newspaper and you're hearing ticket, and you start to like check your many overalls. Do you have overalls?
Yeah, she's wearing
Okay.
overalls.
Overalls. You check your many pockets for your ticket. You look up, and it's a goddamn zombie. How does Dot react?
Oh, hey man, working hard, hardly working.
Rictus
I've got-
smile.
I've got my ticket right here.
Punches it. Have a nice ride. And he can kind of tell, you can tell that the only people that he seems to say that to are people who can tell
Aw.
who he is, or what he is. And and so he shambles back past you, and he seems to be exiting the car as we follow him exiting the car. As he steps out, we see the lights kind of flash out in the car, and when the lights drop, we see like a couple of how to put this. So when the lights drop in the car, the big full moon outside illuminates, and we see several of the seats. There's silhouettes in those seats of forms that weren't there when the lights come back on. So as they flash, we see these silhouetted forms, maybe like 4 of them that aren't there when the lights come back up.
Oh, they're just gone.
They don't appear to be there at all when the lights come back up. Now, Zeek, you noticed them.
Well,
Dot, you noticed them.
yeah, I did.
If you say so.
Well, I was gonna say my weakness is overlooked details.
Were they there before?
No, you only saw them in the moonlight when the electric lights were down. So basically,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say that your weakness is you overlook details?
Yeah.
I have a tag that says "I" for details.
We're a pair.
We're playing our characters wrong.
Well, then. Oh, it's fine.
all right, yeah. Zeek, the only reason you saw them, again, was because you had just been eyeballing the zombie that took your ticket. And Dot, you basically, the light changed, and it was the white, basically the white versus black composition was askew for a moment, and you happened to blink catch that.
I think that like she has her head down, and then like the lights come back on again. She like puts her head up and then like looks around, kind of confused. Like she can tell something happened, but like she just kind of shrugs it off, like she does a lot.
All right. So as the clack 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 of the train is going, we as the audience are outside the train, and we see the next tunnel coming, and we get a rise in the music, that foreboding tone, and it comes. The lights drop for whatever reason as we exit the tunnel. The figures, the moonlight is there, and they are standing now. They're in the middle of the car, kind of converging on Zeek. Dot, you see that, and Zeek, you
hat
catch
down. Just
it. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they seem to be close, almost like weeping angels kind of thing. The light was there, and then all of a sudden now the moonlight comes in, and those figures that were seated are now bloop closing in on Zeek. Dot, you see this, and then of course the lights come on, and they're not there.
She's like a little bit behind him, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like she like definitely like tells that like they're after him, and she's like, "Mom's gonna kill me," and like, is there another tunnel like on the way?
Yep.
She's gonna like stand up and like start heading down, and she's gonna like kind of walk past him and kind of give him a side eye to see like to try and get a read on him and see if he like can handle himself, or if he's just about to get like jumped with no warning.
You have an eye for detail?
Yeah.
I would say you probably noticed that, like, it looks like he has 2 holsters on either side. Like, he's packing. But as far as, like, are his hands at the ready? Is he in, like, a readied stance, like, prepped for danger? No, he seems like, if anything, he's, like, trying to find a comfy spot again. He had one, and then the ticket man showed up.
Like, she's just gonna, like, kind of stop a little bit ahead of him, and like act like she just did a double take, and she's like, "Whoa, you look like you're not from around here."
Well, I'm not as good detection. Can I help you with anything?
No, probably not.
Come through the tunnel.
And like they're standing in the darkness, and I imagine that they have those figures looming over them. And she says, "Do you need some help?"
If they're like, when you say this and they're like stand still, Zeke's sort of like,
yeah.
Oh shit.
Basically, there's 4 of them now, all reaching for you in the black.
Zeke asks, Dot, know how to count?
What kind of question is that?
Count to 6. And he will stand up and turn and just with it, like with a pistol out, but like in the like when the moonlight actually shines on it, it's a silver pistol.
She hits the deck. And that's a gun.
All right. Okay. I can't remember what the moves are. Hold on. I should have opened that a minute ago.
Wait a second. This isn't the rules from Masks.
Exactly. Fillable City of Mist. This MC Toolkit. I had the folder here. I just didn't have it open. Moves. Hey, somebody, how do I get it from the 2 pages to the 1 page? Anybody remember?
Oh, no. I
No.
remember that problem, though.
Yeah.
Are you in Adobe Acrobat?
I believe, yes.
All right, so what you need... No...
For the audience, what we're trying to do is make it so that instead of it being a spread on the PDF, make it into just one free-flowing document with 1 page after the other.
Yeah.
Instead of showing 2 pages at once.
And I don't know why it does this. Aha! View, right? Page. Nope. Sorry, guys.
We're prepared.
Yeah. Tool pane, toolbars.
The only reason I
No.
would think of to want to have it that way is if you're like reading a comic and it's got like a splash page that covers 2 pages.
Yes.
But with my luck, it would like just cut that in half and like arrange it wrong. Just the kind of thing that would frustrate Dot. Printing errors! No!
Tears it. Ugh. All right, and now it's thinking for some reason. Oh, PDF, why would you be like this? Wow, that is really freaking out. All right, let's put this over here and see if we can change it up. Nope. Okay, well, that's not happy at all. All right, well,
so
while that freaks out.
Core moves.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
There is free core moves PDF. So there is convince, not happening. Change the game, give yourself or your allies advantage. Probably not happening. Face danger is when avoid incoming hit. No, going toe to toe. Or hit with all you got.
I believe it's hit for all you got. And
All right.
you have that moves PDF, maybe share that with me because the book is freaking out.
Yes.
I mean, it's literally like flashing and stuff.
Oh God, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just weird.
I put that in our Monster Noir chat.
Cool. All right. So, yes. So that would be...
Oh, is this what they call the yellow pages?
You're old. You know what a yellow pages is. All right. Hit with all you've got. Let's go to
So I
100 because I'm
love
old.
the names of all of these moves.
Okay.
Roll.
Finally, some answers.
Yep. Hit someone with something with all you've got. Roll plus power. So
All right.
2d6 plus your power.
Plus my
And
power.
you don't have any statuses currently. None of your weaknesses apply, I don't believe. So.
Yep. And so that is a 10.
All right.
Good
On
first
a
roll.
10. Choose 2.
Okay. Hold the target's attention if possible. Well, there's a definite not werewolf thing that's behind me who seems to just have gotten the deck, and I have a pistol. So I think that I'm probably going to hold the target's attention. And then as far as collateral damage, I feel like I would be controlling that.
Okay.
Yeah, so control the collateral damage and hold the target's attention.
Excellent. So, are you firing?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Putting rounds through these specters?
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I assume so.
And then the second part is, are your pistols magic?
So they aren't necessarily magic. A lot of the inspiration for his pistols came from The Witcher, where like one silver sword, one steel sword, but like the silver one is good for like monsters and stuff. So like the fact that it is he's using his silvered pistol rather than his regular one, to me meant that was like how he can deal with the supernatural as far as like a firearm goes.
All right. Yeah, so you let rounds fly and we see like, we see the bullets like exit out the side of the train, and a couple of these things you've just taken down completely. Dot, what are you doing? You hit the deck and
She's counting.
okay. All right. So yeah, you get to 4 and you see the other 2 are now, coming at him. He's never going to get the pistol around in time to hit these other 2.
This seems dumb. Um, she's okay. Well, I've got a better idea.
All right.
She has a pretty encyclopedic, you might call, knowledge of the magical world.
Okay.
She would like to access her memories and try to decide what these things are.
Right. All right. So, roll plus power. Okay. So, what do you have that adds into these your clues?
Well, in her now they're called theme books, right?
Mm-hmm.
In her possessions theme book, which I have titled Sentimental Value.
Nice.
She has a book of monsters because her mother used to read her to sleep every night with a book of monsters and tell her every single thing in this book is real and you should be worried about them.
The Brothers Grimm complete guide to real freaking monsters.
Exactly.
All right.
Now what is plus power? What does that mean in the
So-
Sea of Mist?
So basically, as you look around, your book's going to give you one. Let me look at a character sheet just to make sure. Nope. Yep. That's no. I cannot get these PDFs to work. So looking down, I have to try to visualize a character sheet now. Looking on the character sheet, your power should be under. Basically anything that applies in your mythos to the situation that might help you out in this. So if you were like Snoopy or your eye for detail, book smart, anything that you think would apply, you basically kibitz for. So you're at least +2 because you have your book and you have your eye for detail.
Oh, okay. So basically you could like look at any number of how many could you possibly tag?
Lots, technically. So generally you try not to go over 3 because it skews the dice.
I have one more that I could do.
Sure, what is it?
Wolf's instincts.
Oh, awesome. So your preternatural senses kick in. We get this flash of you reading, your mother reading you Grimm's fairy tales, basically, and saying, all of this is real. And then, of course, your eye for detail. So we get that Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. kind of Sherlock Holmes, zip on the eyes, zip, and you see these things. So
now here's a question.
Sure.
How many times can you do that? Because like if you tag all of those things, like are those like
tapped?
Tagged?
Nope.
Tapped? No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Just checking. New system, still learning.
Yeah, me too. So.
New system, who dis?
Exactly. So that would be a +3 by tagging 3 different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled a 3 on the dice, so that's going to be 6.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're like looking these things up and down. You're hugging the carpet because there's bullets flying. Zeek is keeping the bullets going upward, so they're only hitting these things and controlling the collateral damage and trying to get these things to focus on him so that nobody else gets whatever's going to happen. So with that, you're like, I don't know what these are, but I'm going to tell you that that you've never heard of these things.
Oh, okay.
And so Zeek, these 2 things, they grab you. They put their
Stinky meat hooks into me.
Yeah, basically these things grab you, and as they do, you get almost a vacuumous feeling. It's in a bitter, painful, burning cold, and for just a moment, it's almost like not that Zeek would know what it is, but I guess the way Zeek would see it is, for a second, you almost feel like you're in the stars.
Don't like that.
Yeah, like you're on top of a mountain or something, and all you can see is stars everywhere, and they grab you. I want you to give a status because of your friend's failure. Star touched.
All right, I will have that set aside. Status.
And hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully, right in the little form fillable, you can put them down there.
Weakness, nemesis, power, improvements. That's the opposite of one of those. Hey, that's a flip side, if anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, or down on the second page. I can't remember. It's really weird that the PDF you sent me opened right up, no problem. The City of Mist ones that I have on my desktop, I open them and they go, they just flicker.
Well, that's strange as hell. Well,
okay.
I'll be sure to add star touched, whatever that means.
All right.
I have a type on this channel. People will get possessed.
Oh,
and people...
no. I forgot about that. Oh, that's awesome. A little rhyme of the Frost Maiden callback. Okay. Yeah, so it burns. It's not your shooting hand. So, you're like, you're fighting with them. Like I said, you kept them focused on you. Where do you go from here?
Well, I would say, if anything, this thing has grabbed me. I do not like that.
Now that I have the moves, you don't have to call out a move. Just tell me what you're doing.
All right, so I would like to distance myself from doing this using my mythos powers. Because up till this point, it's just been like standard blast, blast, blast. But he has super speed and nimble as a fox. So with my duster, I kind of want to do like a flourish in order to get them to like pop back a little bit and then go into a deep spin. And then on the bottom of the deep spin, pop up with my pistol again and just try and pop them. But I understand that's two things, which is one, getting out of danger, and two, shooting. So
that's fine. So it's gonna be let's see. Let's get out of danger first. So face danger.
All right.
Let's see. Avoid the incoming. Okay. Yeah, I know it's gonna say roll plus power all the time. So, but you've got your nimble as a fox, and you've got your mobility. Well, so you're gonna have at least +2 there.
Nimble as a fox, super speed, plus the 4 that I rolled means that's a total of 6.
Oh my god. Okay.
Rocket.
Yeah, so you flourish, you do the fencer's flourish with the duster, and it lets their grip slide free. You spin, you go up, and you go boom, boom, but they're not there. That moment that you flicked the duster up and couldn't see them, they vanished from your sight. Dot. You see the cowboy has like shrugged them off and fired a couple of rounds through the ceiling. You can still see them. They have basically blinked out like a blink spell almost. When he did the flourish, they went bloop, and they are now like flanking him again, but they're a step off. What do you do?
She's gonna swing something heavy at them. And depending on how well this roll goes, I'll describe it afterwards.
Okay, all right.
But I'm gonna tag my ability, or rather I'm gonna tag my power, troubleshooting, which is also under my possessions.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I cannot roll higher than a 3 on these dice.
Oof.
Getting rid of them.
So that's a 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so what were you swinging or trying to swing or whatever?
It's her part.
Oh,
It's the printing press part.
grab the printing press disc or whatever, and the ink disc from it or whatever, and you're trying to hoof it through them.
Just chuck it. Like, you know when you look at like those old printing press things, like there's like a big wheel off onto the side. Like I want to say that it's just one of the wheels. It's just one side of it.
Okay, so it is the motion wheel, not the flat ink pan.
No.
Okay,
No.
so it's a wheel. It's
Yeah.
like a cast iron wheel.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. With your, do you have like super werewolf strength?
She does.
Okay. All right. So you can actually wing this thing around like without a lot of effort. But you you go to swing at these things, and they just kind of almost like they're made of water or something. They just kind of fold back away from this thing coming past them, and you blang, you bust a couple seats, and the people who were in the seats are all like, ah, they're screaming because now, as far as they know, some madman is shooting up the train car. So the other people in the car are screaming and trying to get out in general chaos within, and now you break a couple of the seats with this large wheel. Yeah, let's finish this scene. I was gonna cut away at this point, but yeah, you break those, and yeah, so we cause collateral damage. I'm gonna say that you even did like knock someone over. They like fall on their butt kind of thing, you know, like what in the hell? But they shouldn't have been running down the aisle in the first place. Okay. You failed. Oh my goodness. Wow. So many bad rolls to begin with. All right. Which is great because you're kind of the new heroes, and it's always good to get your ass kicked in the first thing, right? So let's say that at this point you went plop plop and you went whoosh, and they kind of did this wave thing, and then the lights come back up full, and they vanish, and you're left there with a bunch of people all looking around like, what just happened?
Faster than the eye can see, but you can hear it before you see it. There is the tank of empty shells on the ground as he super speed like reload the next 6. Like,
all right.
yeah, just very like grim look on his face, like kind of like flexing his left hand because it's, he's star touched now. He has no idea what that means.
Yep. So Dot, they're not here. You're like werewolfy, total focus. They're gone.
She just kind of like fixes her hair a little bit, and like, just sort of like starts walking forward as casually as possible. And she's like, excuse me, sorry. And like does that like awkward shuffle that you have to do when like you're both standing in the aisle just past Zeek, like, yeah, okay, yep, okay, and a pass. All right, I just gotta get this. She like picks up the part.
Okay, all right. And Zeek, you're waiting for the next beam of moonlight or whatever to give a clue, and I think what we'll do is we'll fade from that. We'll pull out of the train like that, and we see that it's heading into the town. We see the seaport town in the distance, and then we would like that's where you could tell the commercial cut would be.
Yeah.
Then we open up the next scene of you getting off the train.
I am not leaving on my own accord, mind you. I am being escorted off of this train.
Yep.
I fucking started shooting a pistol in there at things no one else could see. I do not leave by myself. They probably want me around for questioning.
Well, the zombie conductor has has you, and basically he pulled you aside, and he said to the car in general, he's like, rabies bats. Yeah, we've had a problem with bats with rabies. This brave man tried to save all of you. You have to have shots in your stomach if you get rabies. And he's basically explaining it that way as he
Amazing.
walks you off the train, leaving basically it kind of in the noir lighting of the moonlight and stuff, and the muted colors.
It's like a singular street lamp
Yep.
that the two of them are talking under for some
Yep.
reason.
And no, he lets you off the train and it's like, I covered your ass, good riddance, don't ride my train again. He gets that his rictus grin becomes a snarl almost, like, you've just made my day, a royal pain in the ass kind of thing. And you find yourself under that singular light, framed comic book wise, long wise frame, you standing there with Dot with this what would be like, 6 bowling balls worth of weight in one hand, like looking around like, okay, I gotta get back to, wherever. And do you guys say anything to each other or interact?
Yeah. I feel like Zeke pulls out like a hand-rolled cigarette. And then, like, as he's lighting it, just turns toward Dot and says, "Oh, you won from back there."
What? Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. And she like literally like pulls out a map of the city, and she's like flipping it this way and that, very similar to the way that she did the newspaper. She's trying to figure out which way she's gonna have to walk the rest of the way, or like hail a cab. And like she's like going through like the process, sort of like externally, she's trying to figure that out.
Zeke's gonna look at it, and I feel like he'll help provide directions, being more just like, all right, C's right over there, and like,
Does he point with his star-touched hand?
yeah, I feel like he
Can
would.
Dot see it? Can she? Is there something about it that like resonates with her? Because I'll clue you in on another tag she has,
Sure.
Which is ancient blood.
So as he goes to point, you get this sort of wispy cold off of his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who play D&D, it's almost like necrotic damage. You
Right.
could tell that this is like the feel of death or something, the cold of the grave.
I've got a good line for when we cut away from these kids.
Okay.
He points to something on her map, and she like sees that weird like ghostly wisp coming off of his hand, and like she like shivers and like physically steps away from him, and then she like just kind of stares down at his hand and then looks back up at him and says, "Rabies bats, huh? You get bit there, cowboy?"
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good like scene transition. Is he more like looks at his arm and then like thinks about like looks at his like arm stomach like, oh shit, like.
All right. Okay. With that, we need to have a scene basically where you guys realize that somehow we have to transition from Zeek telling Dot why he's here. So let's say there's only one cab that you guys get into. And
Oh my god, there was only one cab.
I like the idea of them walking down a street.
Okay.
They probably are like kind of like out in the boonies, because like it was a train. They're probably walking to where they can actually hail a cab.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so you guys are again, full moon, wispy clouds. You guys walking along. This is out by the train yard, so there's like warehouses and poorer houses. This is the 40s, the Great Depression, the war. There's a lot of empty buildings and whatnot. But yeah, you guys are walking along, and what would be the conversation?
Oh, your first time seeing one of those things?
Oh no, I've seen all kinds of things.
Really?
Yeah. Ever since I was a little girl.
How's that?
What do you mean, how's that? Sometimes people can just see things, man.
Most of the time, things happen that make it so you can see those kinds of things.
Well, that's not the case for me.
Well, if you're such a know-it-all big shot, I got a question for you, city girl. You ever seen anything long claws, doesn't leave tracks?
Long claws, doesn't leave tracks. Some kind of ghost?
Could be. I don't think that a ghost could have done what I seen it do. Now, question as well. Now, maybe I'm just country bumpkin here from out of town. Isn't that thing heavy for you?
She's just got it like she switches it between arms every now and then. She's like, oh, well, I'm a pressman, so I work with these kinds of things all the time.
He's just like,
And Dot has no telltale signs at all, really, right?
Yeah, this is awful strange. Yeah, I think that.
But really though, Dot, you're Marilyn Munster, right? You outwardly, there's no,
I'd say she's short, but she's stocky.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's got some good muscle on her.
Okay.
And it's like it's not surprising that she can carry this thing around.
Okay.
Like she looks pretty tough.
I think he sees that, but like mentally is still like, I'm gonna hang out in case more of those fucking like weird ass ghosts show up. Because when they
to attack you,
to attack the both of us. No, and I think that he probably he asks are you from around here?
technically.
I mean, that doesn't exactly say a whole lot, but that's fine, I guess.
Forgive me, sir, but you are a stranger.
Well, how about some introductions? My name is Ezekiel Sullivan, and I'm looking to kill something.
Wow. Okay. Seriously considering giving him a fake name.
Silver pistol, eye for detail.
Okay. Yeah. My friends call me Dot. You want to kill something?
That's correct. Been wanting to kill it for a long time now.
Oh. Okay, those guys.
And your encyclopedia is just flipping pages in your head. Your book of Grimm there.
At this point, she's like putting down like the Book of Monsters and like reaching for the old westerns.
Now, the thing that I'm looking to kill, I asked you about it already. Long claws, Doesn't leave footprints. I wasn't always an orphan, if that helps your situation at all.
How old does this guy look?
He, like, with the gray that's coming into his beard, like, he looks like he's, like, late 30s, probably closer to, like, his 40s.
Thinking about that one song, Orphaned at 33. Well, really sorry about that. She kind of, like, taps her chin and, like, thinks... Like, she thinks a real hard thunk. What does she know of anything that, like, has long claws and doesn't leave tracks?
You were pretty close, like Chinese ghouls, maybe.
Something from overseas, probably.
And maybe that's when you're like, or could be some kind of fae, you know, unseelie, the, you know, darker fae.
I mean, are you sure they don't leave tracks, or are they just covering their tracks?
Well, my memory from that day is pretty clear. There were no tracks coming to or from my house that my family did not make. The only thing I can really tell from what I could see, from what I could smell, really, is something undead, something well past its expiration.
And you do know that Beltane lives here and might be able to help you out.
All right. She's like thinking her a real hard thunk, and like at some point, like she just like takes a hard turn down a different street, and like very clearly like moving away from the place where the cab's gonna be.
And with that, we're gonna jump over. Where are we at? Okay. Beltane, you're at your shop. It's later, but the lights are still on. And is the front door locked?
No, he keeps it open because he has customers who come in at night, especially those who can't come out in the day. So he services those customers on specific times and certain days of the week. So this is one of those weeks or one of those days.
Obviously, the full moon situation would probably be a night for business.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And do you man the counter, or do you have people that man the counter?
If it's at night, he mans it because he's in charge here. He doesn't want his employees to get scuffed up by some imposing otherworldly creature or other people who just are looking for a bad time.
Right. Okay. And the door swings open, and 3 individuals come in, and one of them like closes the door and leans up against it, and the other 2 walk forward and they're like, so Taylor, you're still open?
Yes.
Doing good business then, huh?
Well, everyone needs a good pair of trousers, don't they?
Yeah. So we have decided that we're kind of a city watch. We keep things from happening to businesses such as this.
Beltane sets his pen down, takes off his glasses, and leans across the table. Are you sure you want to hustle me?
It's not really a hustle. It's more of a service. We'll come by. You give us, some money, and then your place doesn't burn down.
just smiles as he steps around the counter and holds up his hand as it catches on fire. See, the flames obey me here, not the other way around. Get out
And-
before I call my dogs.
All right. So I'm gonna name things because we want people to kind of learn what the moves are.
Mhm.
Let's make this a convince. And any power that you can add into this or that you believe goes on board.
Okay.
Like-
Uncanny charisma.
Oh, awesome. The magic.
Charming. Yeah.
Okay.
Magic, uncanny charisma, charming. Why not?
All right, +3.
Okay. 12.
They kind of like stumble over each other and like fling the door open, and Dot and Zeek, the door flings open, and Zeek, you almost go for the draw kind of thing, and these 3 thugs come out and they running down the street, and as you guys open, we as the audience see the fire just kind of disappear in Beltane's hand, and Beltane Dot walks in with a tall stranger, a tall-ish stranger.
Beltane tells these guys, "Get out before I call the dogs," and Dot just sneezes.
Nice.
I feel like as like the 3 are running away, Zeke sort of like tips his hat and just fellas, like as they're just getting out of town.
Dot just catches the door before it shuts, steps in, puts the part down next to the door, and says, "Hey, Bel."
Heavily.
Yeah. Boom.
Good evening, Miss Dot. Am I here to tailor your shirt? Overalls?
Not tonight, Bel. This here's Zeek. I was wondering if you could help us figure out a little puzzle.
I love puzzles. Go on.
It's more of a riddle, really, than it is a puzzle. What has long claws, leaves no tracks, and can kill a family in a matter of minutes?
Well, depending on location and where in the world it happened.
Let's say Wyoming, close to Colorado.
Well, the Oswang haven't moved into that territory, so I don't think it's them. It could be one of the Canadian monsters or creatures that come from no.
Yep.
We lost you.
Yep. Audio went out.
Was it during winter, summer, fall, spring?
Would have been during winter.
Did you offend anyone?
Not that I'm aware of. To be fair, I was about 10 years old at the time, so don't really know what to tell you.
Any other siblings or just you?
Just me.
Real quick, Dot, do you have any conversational weaknesses?
How so?
So, like, your eye for detail or anything as they're going along, what's the probability that you would blurt something out as they're going through monster?
There's a pretty good probability. The more that I think about it, the more I feel like her particular brand of odd would manifest as something like ADHD.
Okay.
Because her weakness under one of these things is sensory overload. So I can see her getting distracted during a conversation, or literally just blurting something out in the middle of a conversation.
And as the two of you are going along, Dot just blurts out, "Vampire. I mean, roaming vampire, random crossing country or something." It just kind of it comes out.
Well, a vampire's possible, but
I would have thought about that as well, but see, there was a funny thing that happened to a lot of vampires about 20, 25 years ago now. And most of them aren't on the board anymore. Not big players. No bite marks either. This would have been, how do I put it? A thrill kill. Wouldn't have been necessarily feeding time.
yeah. Well, there
So
is
you know
a
any
couple
vampires
creatures.
who maybe don't drink with their body parts?
I know.
I want to cut right there. Lilith. What does Lilith do? Mob, vampire, queen, when someone displeases her?
Depends on how displeased and how far the insult went.
Well,
Anything from a good scare to servitude to death.
all right. Let's say we, from that, as the pondering, and we get that chiseled cheekbone visage of Beltane, kind of like thinking, and we cut to what kind of horrible graphic thing do we see Lilith do to this traitor, this betrayer of the of the queen?
Okay. How graphic am I allowed to get?
Whatever
Would it
Twitch says you
violate
can.
Twitch's terms of
There it is.
service? Is she
I'm
doing
gonna make
anything to
I'm gonna
people?
make it vague, violent.
All right.
She would
Perfect.
make sure they could no longer talk,
Mm-hmm.
and she would make sure that they will always remember what they did. And she's not gonna kill them, even at the point where they will be begging for death.
All right. Okay. So we do that sort of dark shadows kind of thing where we see this person like restrained, however, and we move across to just the shadow, and then we hear muffled, and we see, does Lilith go beast form or do we not?
No,
we
it's just her with a very cold, calculating face and
Awesome.
a very lovely dress.
Awesome. All right. And with
Terrifying
that scene,
shadows on the wall,
Mhm,
and then
exactly.
splatter.
Yep. But because it's noir, it's like the shadows, and then the blood is like black on the
Mhm.
gray wall. And that's I think a great place to do break, right?
Yeah, so we are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon! And we're back! Hello, everybody. We have returned. Lilith is doing some horrible boss queen shit. Zeek has revealed that, maybe his family was murdered by a slashy, stabby, undead, ghosty thingy. Who's to say? Other than GB. Take us away.
All right. As we ended the scene, splash against the wall, blackish. We know it's blood, but Noire looked black. So where we're at, we've got we've got 3 of our 4 characters together. Beltane, how do we get to your faraway look to vampire? Where does that conversation go next? I mean, you're not gonna go, well, it could have been my friend, why don't we go find them? So how does Beltane handle that?
He kind of taps the table. Well, if you think it's a vampire, I have some contacts. We could explore if you want, but finding this particular contact is going to be a bit difficult. If that's okay with you, Miss Dot, Mr. Zeek.
Said context is going to be difficult.
Contact.
Contacts. See, that's kind of the thing. I haven't really had contacts on this before. You might have guessed, and he motions to himself. I'm not exactly from around here.
That's why I'm offering my services, Mr. Zeko.
Before we get in to conversations about helpfulness, I have to ask, what exactly are you?
He smiles and kind of flicks the lock on his door closed and turns to Zeke and says, "What are you?"
I'm a man who's trying to do right by my family. I've learned a thing or two throughout my many years that there are two different kinds of individuals in this world. There are monsters, and then there are men. Now you, Mr. I'm assuming Hawthorne, name was on the
Yes.
shop. Bell, as I believe Dot called you before. I have a very serious question. Two, rather, depending on how you ask or how you answer. One, are you a man or are you a monster? And two, how fast can you count?
Fairly fast. My people are known for it.
All right. Now answer the first of those two questions.
Mr. Ezekiel, you need to understand that there's a third category to your question. Monsters are the things we both hunt, things that fall from grace. Both of our people fall into that category, man or supernatural. Monster is what we deem unworthy to exist in the world. I'm neither. I'm the third.
So that would leave either you are the world or you are somehow removed.
Now you're putting it.
Now, see, you have a different definition than what I do. Man, somebody who looks out for the common folk. Everybody else just trying to make it by. If you're willing to help me, to me, you're a man. But a monster can be human, monster can be kinfolk, monster can be anything that you make it if they're doing you dirty. So I have a question that, while you dodged answering, gives me a little bit of insight. Are you willing to help? Or do I got to show you who counts faster?
Glancing to Dot. Back to Zeke. If you invoke my help, then I will help.
No, you're folk. You don't ever help without some kind of recompense. If I get you in a deal, you have to help. It's not a matter of question. So what can I offer you to assure your assistance?
You help me find my contact. And I want the marble in your left pocket.
We can talk about the marble at a different time. I like to play. What about you?
I've been playing this game for over 3,000 years, my friend.
And Zeke, just sort of tilts his head to the side as it's just like, of course they would. And Belle, I think that from your perspective, you see like this faint glow around Zeek as he just like, you see it in slow-mo because your eyes are trained as like old Fae, but he's moving at like super speed as he just grabs the marble and flicks it towards you.
Just catches it and holds it up. Cat's eye.
And Zeke says, so we got a deal or not?
Find my contact and my help is yours.
And he nods.
Doc, what are you doing during the exchange?
She like sets, or she like goes over to her printing part, takes the butcher paper off, and she like checks it to make sure that it wasn't injured in the fight.
No, it seems to have weathered the storm without dent, ding, or even a bit of tarnishment. Though the train car is not as lucky.
Nice. She kind of stands up, brushes her hands off, and just sort of stands next to them like, well, I'm coming too. Like, she doesn't say that, but she like stands there like it's clear that she's coming along.
Like hands on her sides kind of thing.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Well, I want to jump back and go to Lilith. And I think, you know, we get a scene of something like her walking away, and you know how I had said we kind of want to do like a flashback. So for anybody who might be catching this series and not have seen our other stuff, do you want to maybe give a little montage or some thoughts? Like maybe we see, you know, Lilith walking the halls back to a lavish room or a bedroom or an office or something, and she's walking back, and maybe we get a kind of a look into Lilith's past. Is there things that you want to tell the audience that Lilith even thinking about, you know?
Like how far do we want to go into the past? Like the last 20 years, what she's been up to? Or...
That would be great, or even a little bit of I want to hear that, but if
like snippets of her origin story.
Yeah, just some pieces that like why Beltane is, you know, her thing, or just any kind of a connection like between her and Beltane, and the last 20 years. So maybe start with the loss of Beltane, and then maybe give us some flashes of things.
There, as she's walking through the hallways of her castle that's been quite refurbished on the inside. There's now electricity and, you know, indoor plumbing. It's we kind of go through a hallway that has various thin columns, and every time she passes one, you see her now, and then you see her dressed differently. Back in early 1820s clothes. Then she passes again, and you see her in later, like mid 1800s clothes, all prim and proper. Then those same clothes, but torn and burned at the edges. Then turn of the century clothes. Then 1910s, 1920s. But then it stops. And she goes back to a mid 1800s clothes. It's not a perfect dress. It's a stained with soot and burned at the edges, and there's blood on it, and her hair's wild, and her eyes look wild. And the background changes to a burning building behind her. And there's her, and then there's another figure that comes up. Much taller figure, dark brown skin, long flowing orange hair. And they have this conversation. And at the end, you see them shake hands. And then it starts flashing to memories of them kind of like working together, starting a sort of business that mixes the human and the supernatural world. And again, her throughout the ages changing and closing and hairstyles, and them changing with her. And eventually you see that these two, there's like a bit of a fuzziness to some memories, like time has changed it, like something has happened to those memories that they've changed from the original ones. And it's the same man but different look. What used to be blue skin and short brown black hair that he turned eventually into is still in the wild orangey hair. And you see them laughing together and just being very close. And you see that at one point they were actually very much in love and together. And then there's flashes to a time where she shouldn't have been. 1300s, different clothing, different supernatural creatures, trying to find someone, the feeling of loss. And then it snaps back into the 20s. This man is no longer by her side. There's a feeling of emptiness. There's a feeling of loss. Everything she's worked for, gone. And then there's a feeling of cold, of stealing yourself and taking everything she has, hiding it away, and rebuilding on top of that. Returning to what she thinks is going to set her on the right path. Fixing things. You see her in front of other vampires that look definitely very injured, even though they're vampires. Something definitely happened in their life. And talking to them, some oppose whatever she is saying. You can't really hear what they're saying. Others agree. The ones that oppose try to take up arms against her, but she has her own people. And eventually she steps and sits on this very not lavish to the point where it's gaudy, but it's a round table full of chairs, and there's one head chair, and she sits down, and then a few others sit down with her, and she starts making plans, building up what was the Vampire Council. She's now the head of it. She now is the Vampire Council. She has the top power there. Everybody else is answering to her. She's still hiding away. This castle is no longer in a city. It's not in a place where it's urban. It is through a long trek through the woods, hidden by trees and off the path. There's no direct road to it. And then we come back to her walking down this hallway again. The sound comes back and you hear the clicking of heels through the hallway. And then her giving an order and giving a paper to someone.
Nice. When the costumes that were changing and stuff, did she still maintain the blood red lips?
Yeah, that was the one thing that always stayed.
Perfect. That was the image I was getting through it too, because you've always kind of said that. So yeah. Was there anything? Did we get a glimpse of what happened in New Orleans and the fire there, and the
through it? I think through the memories of her, through her time, and especially in the 20s. You would see memories of her with Hazel, with Harker, with Beltane, and them together on the train, then to the party, then fire and people screaming and stakes being thrown and just chaos.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I like where that's headed. All right. With I don't want to keep the party separate, but at this point I think it's too soon for you guys to just be back together. What do you all think?
That's fine. You got an hour to work with.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like this is episode 1, BB.
Yeah. Okay, good. So with that kind of giving us a better image of who and what Lilith is, let's go back to I think it would be, settled down. Do you guys, Beltane, are you offering to let them stay? Dot, you probably have your own place. Do you guys split up for the night? Zeek, do you find a flop house? What's how would we begin the next day?
He's not going to bother paying for a place to stay when there are all these homes without residents. Just go break off a lock, let himself in. It's not going to have lights, probably won't have running water, but those are amenities. Those are creature comforts that he can live without. He's fine.
For rule of cool here, I want to say that he happens to crack open the house that the apartment, the office that happens to be right next to the now defunct Dewey, Cheatham and Howe.
Oh yeah,
lawyer.
For sure. He sees big layer of dust on the window that says R. Harker. But he just looks at it. Then he just punches through the glass, undoes it, looks around. There's still some bottle of booze, from Harker having lived there during her binging phase. So he just takes a sniff, takes a sip. It probably could taste better, but he's not going to stop.
There's lipstick on the on
everything.
The bottle. Yeah, on everything. There's lipstick everywhere.
Everywhere.
Lipstick in a pentagram on the wall.
Well, I do want to say
there is the pentagram on the desk. Still.
I do want to say that we kind of, that's kind of sort of covered. It's barely seeable for us. And then as Zeek turns, the pentagram goes, and it just for a second, kind of lights up, and then we see Zeek lump out on the couch which has Harker dents.
Yeah.
Has Harker sized dents, and so Zeek now is making new dents in the.
If he saw that there was people-sized dents. Unless they have a weird layer of Velcro, just flip the cushions over. But although with Harker, I feel there's still Harker-shaped dents. She had already flipped the couch over.
That's beautiful. All right, that's our
sleeping
beautiful...
at Harker's place.
I love the fan service to the first season. So yeah, those are our Easter eggs.
I have a question.
Sure.
Were there landlines in the 1940s?
Yes.
Okay. The little spin dial phones. Did we have press button phones yet?
No, they're the rotary kind by the 40s.
You also had the I wanted to say Morse code maker.
Yeah,
the operator.
The telegram. You had telegram
right.
still.
Gotcha.
But TV was just starting to be a thing. So a phone made sense still. It was a one-piece phone, not a two-piecer.
Right.
So
exactly.
So when Dot gets home, she rolls the part behind her couch. She's got like a little hole in the wall apartment. You know, like that apartment in Ratatouille where he has to like drag his fucking bike in and like hide it somewhere behind the door. Yeah, she's got like one of those like really slim apartments. She kind of like comes in and just sort of sighs. She's been told to call her mom when she gets home. So she goes to her phone, and like, dials in the number and like puts it up to her ear, and she goes, "Hey, mom. No, actually, I'm not home. Yeah, this jackass is trying to like push me for a higher price. I'm gonna be out here for like at least a few more weeks. Yeah. No, I'll let you know when I get home. Okay. Yes, I know. Yes, I know, mom. Yes. Yes. Okay. I love you too. Goodbye." Click. And she goes and she like lies down she like pulls down her bed.
Murphy bed.
It's the spring loaded like
this is so cool.
The Murphy bed, yeah.
And then she just like flops into it with her clothes still on. And then she like takes out the silver locket and she just sort of starts fiddling with it for a little bit, and she sighs and then rolls over and goes to sleep.
Are we to assume that she has been away for a while, or that she is renting this apartment while here?
Well, she had like she grew up fairly sheltered with a very like worried mother, and she has recently moved out.
Okay.
So like she's still kind of helicoptering as much as she can in the 40s, but she is an adult woman that's like doing her own thing now. But like, oh, she's a woman living alone, like so like it's all kinds of she's all kinds of a nervous wreck about that.
Now, do you live does your mother live in another even city, and you live here with your dad?
I want to say that sure, yeah, like maybe her mother lives in a completely different city.
Okay.
And she is closer to her dad now. She doesn't know that.
Okay.
She has no idea who her dad is.
Okay. Awesome. That was a detail that I did indeed miss. Okay, good.
She pays her own rent and everything. She's an individual. She's on her own. She's making it, baby.
Woo! Now, is she old enough to where she went to work like during the war?
Yeah. Well, I think that she was like, she started working like maybe a little bit too early, like because of the war, and then she just never stopped. Like,
got it.
Yeah, she's a whole ass adult now, but like she started working because of the war, and she like probably started off by like screwing the tops onto bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
But like now she's like actually pursuing her passion, which is repairing the printing press.
Nice. Love it. Okay. Zeek, we already kind of saw. No, we haven't. Have we seen your? See, today was such a long day. We packed so much in.
I haven't necessarily gone into my flashback.
Okay.
But the flashback that Zeek has, I imagine. Look, when you dream after you've had some drinks, they're not always the best dreams.
Okay.
So it is Zeek having a dream about coming home, and his mother calling him by his name, Ezekiel, and like having dinner with his family. It's very simple. He grew out in the west-ish area, not like Pacific Northwest, but like Western still, with like, again, sort of like Colorado, Wyoming area. If anything, he probably grew up like closer to Denver. But like out near that area, it's winter time. He went out, came home, like went out with his dad, came home. he was having a nice time, and his parents like go from like being really like, yeah, haha, like we're just raising our young son out in the wilderness. Oh, we're teaching him like how to chop firewood and stuff. Look how great our son is, to being very nervous, very scared. And there's,
if I can
yeah,
jump in and interject.
Yeah.
So I want to say, the wind picks up outside and the windows rattle and the mom and dad are kind of,
like
wary.
the fire like flickers down for a little bit
in the fireplace.
Yeah.
It goes.
There's
all
no
wobbly.
what is it?
Flume.
Flume. There's no flume to like keep the wind out or like anything like that. So like the fire just like like dies down a little bit, and like that's when they get nervous. So they move the bed away, and there's a trap door underneath the bed, and they open it and they tell him to get in, and to close his eyes and to count to 6. And if he counts to 6, to look up, and if he can look up and the coast is clear, to go find help. If like all things go poorly, if he counts to 6 and nothing's happened, his parents will be there for him. So he is, so like he gets in, hears the door open, hears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he never hears the 6th one. So he goes to look up because it's happened so frequently, and he like meets eyes with his mom. His mom's not moving. And like it's him like seeing that his family is no longer, and there is just a thing. He was too young when he saw it. He doesn't know what it is, but he can just sort of like hear this old creaking of, as he described it earlier, a body well past its expiration. He recognizes that this is like some sort of undead thing, but like, one, it's a dream memory of when he was 10, and he's pushing 45 easy.
I want to say we almost kind of hear a sultry woman's voice, but it's a whisper, and it's not coming from the creature.
But it's like the aura of the creature is speaking.
Perfect. Yes.
And when he feels like in this dream, the bed lifts and there is just like the face of utter hell staring back at him. It is not, there's no way to describe it outside of a 10-year-old. It's not human. It's not other, but it's there. And he knows that it has shape. And right as it opens up, like right as it's like lifting up the bed and can see him under, he wakes up. And the scene of him waking up is he jolts awake, but his pistol is already drawn and it's going like directly out in front of him. And he just sits there and like his hand shakes a little bit, but not out of nerves. It looks like it has almost like a echo effect of a rubber band reaching the end of your finger and then snapping back and sort of wobbling. That is his hand on this pistol. The shaking sort of subsides, and it is, he drew it too damn fast.
Nice. From there, let's see the morning for Beltane. Does Beltane have to shave?
No, he chooses not to have a beard, so he doesn't grow one.
All right. What kind of mundane prep things does Beltane do? Lint brush his clothes, or shine shoes, or something?
He actually makes breakfast for all the denizens that live in his flat and shop, whether they be shadow, wraith, otherworldly. He just kind of makes them breakfast. He talks to his daughter when she comes in, makes her breakfast, tells her to be good, don't burn down the library. He knows she doesn't like the other librarians, but she can't burn down the library again.
Even if there's a Nazi gnome in it.
It didn't go over well in Alexandria.
It didn't go over
Did
well.
you
there
burn
either.
Alexandria?
Uh,
Is that why Beltane's sad about it all the time? Just like, fuck, that was my bad.
You watch the past episodes or answer it in Nights in the Courtyard. Also, too, real quick, we had did we have a thing?
We
sub?
did. Kirkland03. Thank you so much for the sub. GB, what happens when people sub on this channel?
When people sub or follow when I'm here, I take this maul and I hit that guy in the face. Oh, that was muted. It'll give me a second one.
Oh, God.
There we go.
Look, we just need to get like a boom mic and studio level dampening. We can turn this into a soundbite, but we're gonna need a team of like 4 people.
All right. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that happened. Okay, so I saw it earlier and I forgot to say something. So Beltane, you've got do you have an apron over top of your suit?
Yes, he wears a nice apron. He's already got his collar pinned up, wearing his vest. He's adapted to the 40s quite well.
Nice. A Dapper Dan man. Okay. So as you're doing the breakfast or whatever, and you're stirring some crepe or whatever it is that you happen to be making for everyone this morning, we kind of get stuck hypnotically into the swish, 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 swish. What do we find out about Beltane? We have that little bit of exposition, the flashbacks, or what is important to Beltane is part of this story that we need to know backstory wise.
He's much different than he was from the 1920s version of him. Somebody came back to him in the 1300s and told him of what happened, what would happen, and how it could happen. He's not particularly on good terms with King Arthur, but he knows of him and keeps tabs on him every now and then. He kept tabs on a very sweet little werewolf dog that he fallen in love with and made sure they were comfortable. But when he tried to keep tabs on Lilith, he lost track of her. So when he came to the 1940s, through all that, he made sure that Oberon didn't kill his daughter. He made sure that he became a head figure in the Fae courts and changed up the order. And after all of that, he kind of just said, I'm bored, and left, and gave all the powers over to his siblings and came into the material world and started up a tailor shop looking for Lilith once more with his daughter.
And that's only been like a year or so.
Yes.
That we've entered this universe timeline or such. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we get any of the glimpses of the past, or have they kind of shut themselves out from like when they became the world tree, when Alexandria burning, your first love, any of that kind of stuff from Beltane's past? Do we get any of that in this iteration, or is that the important stuff that the cut has been made, that you made the choice to change things to save your daughter and now find Lilith?
All of it stayed the same up until he was intercepted in the 1300s. He saw the Library of Alexandria burn, his first love, getting to know people through the Middle East, Greece, seeing civilization bloom, establishing old world religions through Fae worship, and telling stories on their past. But once the 1300s hit with Edward the Black, King Edward the Black set in, it shifted to a point where the previous Beltane ceased to exist and this new Beltane has come into existence. Like that fine line has been scrubbed and he's come into this existence where his daughter's alive, where he's a bit more wildly, he's a bit more mischievous, less cautious. He's a bit more willing to do things that will get things done.
Okay. And for audience folk out there, people watching, because we changed systems, we had to tweak and make some changes and stuff in things people could do and whatnot. So I really wanted to see kind of story-wise what they brought with them forward into this existence. All right, where are we at? Okay. So morning comes, we've gotten the three of them getting together, their little flashbacks, and we see them meeting outside the tailor shop. What do you do?
I feel like Zeek is the kind of person where, like, he would either show up with a cup of coffee or he would, like, show up with the stuff to make coffee and be like, can I use your kitchen? Like,
Beltane will give you a look, take your stuff, and give you a proper cup. We don't use that in this house.
like, it's like his, like, I imagine it's like a metal cup.
I was just gonna say the old tin press cups.
Just an old tin press cup, and like you replace it with like a ceramic mug. He just sort of looks at it like, this has no utility. This will break in the first week on the road. But yeah, so I feel like when they all meet, like, coffee is made. If anyone else is a coffee drinker, this is quote unquote cowboy coffee. Like, it is burnt. It is strong. In the words of your grandpa, it'll put some hair on your chest.
When Dot shows up, she is well outfitted. She brought her monster book with her. She's got a tool case, and she's got some good old fashioned luggage. I want to say that it's like a really frilly like carpet bag with like flowers and stuff. It was a hand me down from her mom. And she shows up and like gladly accepts the coffee, and is like kind of listening to everybody, like, making plans for like travel for the day. And she like takes a hearty gulp, and then she just like almost spits it out, and then she's kind of like very politely just sort of like back into the mug.
I love it. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. All right.
So you said we got to find one of your contacts that you lost track of?
Yes.
Well, how are we supposed to go about doing that? Do you have any leads whatsoever? What they look like? A name? Super helpful in situations like this, especially if it's like a real name and not like, oh, they go by the mouse or something like that, and then like I have to track down 50 people who go by the mouse.
Who goes by the mouse?
One guy named Walt I ran across a while back.
There's only one the mouse, and you do not fuck with him.
Well, I will need you to promise me something, and I will hold you to it.
I won't make any promises, but I'll do my best to abide so long as it's possible.
When we find my contact, you will not harm them. You will not maim them. You will treat them with respect.
On one condition, Mr. Bell.
Yes.
So long as they aren't the ones that killed my mama and pappy.
The ancient laws asked me to agree with you, so fine.
Caveat accepted. He puts his spits in his palm and reaches out.
I don't want that. I don't want any of that. You've ruined my coffee maker this morning. I do not want your dirty hand.
Shrugs, just slides it down the side of his pant leg, then goes back to drinking his incredibly burnt coffee.
Their name is Lilith. They're a fairly petite woman. Black hair, beautiful eyes, lips that could leave a mark or two.
There is a grimace on Zeke's face that just continues to get wider as you describe Lilith this way. And he says, my reuniting lost lovers are helping you find somebody who might have a know-how.
Why can't it be both, Mr. Ezekiel?
When you guys start talking about Lilith, Dot's eyebrows sort of raise, and she opens up her book and she starts flipping through it. And she comes to a page that has a terrifying beast with bat-like qualities, but is large and imposing.
Where was the last place you saw this Lilith figure?
1338, England.
Incredibly helpful.
You asked. I gave you the honest
Nina
answer.
Maria or Santa Pita or whatever they were. Which did she come over here?
I'm not exactly. No, she came on one of the French ships, I think, in the early 1900s.
Yeah, all those three that I mentioned. So she's here?
I hope. If not, then I have to go to France, and
I don't want to go there.
I like wine.
I've been to Paris, Texas, and it was not impressive. I don't need to go to Paris, France.
Why did you go to Paris, Texas?
It was on the... Have you ever taken the railway before?
Several times.
You ever been to the one that stops through Texas? It's cheap as hell.
No, I ride first class.
Well, I could say one of us has been on a train and one of us had an experience that didn't want to actively kill them.
Don't touch my coffee maker.
That is fine with me. Can't make a cup of coffee worth the shit anyways. And he just sips his burnt-ass coffee that he ruined your coffee maker making. It is clear this guy has no clue how to use one of these quote-unquote newfangled things.
Yeah, so basically it's a big dish up top with holes punched through it that you pour the coffee in, and then the water percolates up through it, and there's a little thing
that's
on the top,
wild.
You could see it percolate, and you're used to having basically a tin, nothing more than a watering can that you huck coffee into,
Yeah,
and boil and then pour the grit
Like, if
Sludge.
anything, I need 2 cups to make a pot of coffee.
Yeah.
That's about it. One where the sediment goes to, and the other where the actual like drinkable sludge goes to.
All right.
Halfway through the conversation, Dot goes over to the coffee maker and starts fixing it.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes, Kirkland in chat posted coffee that you can stand a horseshoe up in.
Nice.
I had a roommate who made coffee like that. It was a way to wake up.
Yeah.
There's duct tape on your coffee maker now, but it works.
Nice. All right. Yeah, I think, you guys discussing 1338, Paris, Texas, back and forth, fix coffee. What does Lilith do with her day? I mean, what's a normal business day for Lilith?
She works. She is balancing both the vampiric business that she has and the more human business, because she does still have her ties into the mob world, and she's still considered one of the mob bosses in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So she is balancing the two. It is a lot of people that she's talking to, a lot of paperwork. She does not have time to not work.
What currently, what is Lilith's biggest, either vampire court or human realm problem?
Her biggest problem, I feel like it always ends up being the vampire court, because she has to deal with so many supernaturals that are immortal and that she just finds annoying. Some of them are okay, others are annoying, but it's very much a lot of missives of well, this vampire is asking for this, well, this vampire is asking for that, well, this vampire, this person, this person, this person, this person, kind of sending when when royalty have court and people start asking them for things and permissions to do things, it's kind of like that, but more paperwork than people actually coming to her. There's not many people that actually, all the people that she works with live here. They don't go in and out unless they are assigned to do that specifically.
And how do you connect with the outside world then? Is it all by phone or by, dispatch, messengers, telegraphs?
It is a mixture of all of that.
Okay.
By messenger, letter, phone, telegram.
Mm-hmm.
It is a mixture of all of that depending on the person and which side she's working with.
Nice. Do you still have business connections with Biggie?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Biggie is still within your circle. Have you usurped Biggie's business? I mean, is his business your business, but you kind of left him in charge?
Kind of. She kind of integrated him into her business, but it's his own branch. He's branch manager.
Got it. Perfect. So now that
I just imagined a dog with a branch in its mouth. That's the branch manager.
Branch manager.
Another dog comes along and grabs the other end of the branch. That's the assistant branch manager.
Assistant to the regional branch manager.
All right.
So yes, Biggie is the branch manager.
Oh, that's just so good. All right. All right, and yet Dot has no idea that Biggie's here, and or her dad.
Yeah, no. She has some. She's got some mystery ancestry on that side.
Okay.
As far as she knows, it's always just been her and her ma.
Got it. All right. Good. Okay. So, Let me think.
Beltane would know who Biggie is.
Yeah. Okay. Lilith, with the so what today's thing that's coming across your desk makes you remember oh my god, I blanked on her name. What was your first character's name, Steven?
Hazel.
Hazel. I'm like,
Hazel.
Harker. No, it's not
Well,
Harker.
The other
Hazel.
H1.
The other Harker.
Hazel
We
Harker.
were sisters.
Instead of Rue the day. Okay. So you have a moment where you're thinking about Hazel because this thing comes in and you're like, oh my goodness, baby vampires. You've been having they bodies have been turning up, ensanguinated kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is your bidding to take care of this issue?
It is to track down who's doing it and bring forth them and their sire. Because I am, to my knowledge, to stop the careless creation of vampire babies, she has put in a rule that for a certain number of years, their sire is responsible for anything the vampire baby does. So anything that they do falls on their head.
Okay, and so you
learn from your own mistakes.
Yeah, she did.
And so she does she do that like in writing? Do we see her scrawl that kind of thing out, or does she extol it like, bring me their sire, bring me X and their sire? Or
she would contact one of the people that she knows that goes into town a lot and say, bring in Biggie and his guys, his boys. I need to know who those vampire respondents. I need them here with their sire now.
Okay. And as that person begins to cross is your office like opulent or functional? Is it like a big marble floor and like dual fireplaces, or how do you see
that opulent? It's very nice. And obviously someone with wealth uses this office. They've decorated it by hand. It's not gaudy, it's not extensive, but it has very intricate details that add to kind of like the overall look of it. Just like dark wood, really nice matching kind of like cabinets or like vampire kind of like library walls. And no windows. She doesn't burn in sunlight, but it bothers her. She doesn't like it. One fireplace. She doesn't want too much fire in here. And it's very organized. Very organized. There's not one thing out of place.
And so as we see this person crossing the floor towards the exit and the shadows flicker, and from our perspective it's mostly like black and white in here. We see that you okay, this goes to the outbox kind of thing, and the next page down is again more bodies found. These bodies emaciated, old, like weathered, like they'd been dead for a long time. And this comes from someone like that you've got paid off in the police department who is aware of supernatural. Basically, it would have been like a Harker.
Yeah.
I
get the supernatural cases.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe one of Harker's like old like partners.
Yeah.
It's me, Blue. I was Red's rival at one point.
Right.
She definitely will have a contact in the police department where any strange cases, the information would go straight to her. And you see her kind of flip to that page and just like a quirked eyebrow and a look of confusion. And there's just kind of, she picks a pen from like a pen holder, and she starts underlining and circling and seeing where the descriptors are that she needs to look for, and seeing if there's anything else that matches it from past cases, or anything that she can like compare it to.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back to that. The crew at the tailor shop. What's your move?
If Beltane has given Zeek everything that he can, Zeke's just gonna go out and start asking questions. But like, he can spot a goblin newsie from a real newsie. And it's one of those like, yeah, I'll buy a paper. By the way, cut the shit.
Where's the list?
So
Where is she?
so to
He's browbeating like
Yeah,
110%.
so we got to set the scene because again, you know, we've been playing this a long time.
Yeah.
So there's a young boy in wool trousers, you know, suspenders, a big thick wool coat because it's winter. He's got his newsy cap on, and he's, you know, paper, just a nickel. Hey sir, it's cold. Nickel, paper, and, you know, kind of thing.
I'll give you 10 cents. How about that?
But then we see he's actually a goblin standing there on the corner. You know, it's cold. Nickel, give me a nickel. Give me a goddamn nickel for the paper, you son of a bitch. And
How about I give you a whole dime and you answer a couple questions?
what? Sure. And he
Zeke
hands
gets
you-
down real low and tilts up his hat and makes direct eye contact with this goblin. And tilts the hat back down a little bit.
And isn't that one of his powers?
Yeah, that he's fearsome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is just him. So one of my power tags is cowboy hat, and the other power tag is fearsome.
All right.
Just moving the cowboy hat in a fearsome way count as both of these.
All right. Then I guess roll +2 power.
Okay. That is going to be for a total of 9.
All right.
Which is 1 success, but not 2. And I feel like Zeke says, all right, I'm going to need you to cut the shit real fast and tell me exactly what I need to know. Because first off, have you ever heard about anybody being the fastest draw in the West before?
Yeah, I've read those books.
All right, I want to let you know those books are about me. If you fuck this up right now, I'm going to show you who's the fastest draw in the East. How about that? Now, I have 2 questions for you. 1, do you know where a Lilith is? And 2, do you know what a Lilith is? Nobody's really explained to me a whole lot about this, but I'm doing my best, so try not to make me look like a fool.
So,
And to the rest of the world, this is a cowboy parading like an 8-year-old boy.
I am eye level with them, and I am
know.
speaking in a slight tone to a
Yeah, but
child.
You're scary as shit.
Oh, yeah.
You're
I am a cowboy in the city, and cowboy in city in 1940 does not need to be there.
Yes. And so
Beltane is running interference from like, no, it's fine. Don't look.
Private investigator. I came from Dewey, Cheatham, and House.
yeah, exactly.
My name is R. Harker.
Yeah.
I'm dying. Like Dot comes up to him and she's like, Jesus, Tex. Like,
Not Texas. anywhere
You
but
ever
there.
hear of, you ever
Paris.
hear of subtlety?
This is being subtle.
It
If you
is
wanted
not.
if you wanted for me to be overt, you'd have smelled the saltpeter by now.
Hey,
All right,
Frank.
I don't know what the hell saltpeter is, but I
It's
don't
what
know
makes
anything
guns
about
go
it.
boom. So you're gonna answer the question or not?
Okay, all right, come on now.
Now a little
no,
boy
like,
is like
wanna
hands
say
upping around you guys.
I want to say that Dot actually knows this guy. She's
Okay.
like, hey, Frank, just answer his questions. That's the quickest way to get rid of him.
Okay, so I don't know, like 20 years ago, there used to be like a mob boss or something. Her name was Lilith, but nobody's seen or heard of her before my time.
Does she have any friends, establishments, places that she would frequent?
Well, so
Would have been
my
prohibition
cousin's
time.
my cousin's brother's niece. No. Anyway, she used to work up in a big house. Up, and he gives you directions on how to get to Lilith's old mansion. Beltane, of course, you know where that is and such.
Mhm.
Dot writes it down.
Okay.
Zeek will flick a dime, a very small coin high up in the air, and then while Goblin is like looking at dime coming down, just snatch the paper out of his hand.
Ting! The dime goes and it rolls along.
Like
and
storm drain. Like
exactly.
just gone.
Ready, and then through the it weevils its way through snow and then drops in, and you hear a cold splash. Little goblin squint, and then kicks a snowball and walks to a different corner.
Dot peers over his shoulder briefly, and she's like, amateurs. Get a load of this margins.
What's a margin? Is that like where you keep
well, it's
like
like the,
fruits inside of a sugary syrup over an extended period of time?
It's like the spaces on the sides where there isn't any text. Like, see here, let me show you. And grabs it and starts explaining in detail, typeface and fucking kerning and shit.
Now, Beltane, did you drive here to find an Uzi?
Yeah. He
Okay.
took his car and took Zeke and Dot with him.
Okay. So the car has been running this whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Zeke does not like cars. Weird. That's about it. They go too fast. He's not here for it. He's used to things back west where everyone takes it a little slow, you know?
Would you prefer a horse and cart? A horse and cart?
A horse
Sheriff?
and cars? Yes.
I'm doing my best here, guys.
Zeke would, but he understands that time is of the essence, and there's a big house on the hill that they last saw a mob boss in 20 years ago. So there's either a corpse or a story. Either way, it'll tell him something he needs to know.
All right. So, Beltane, what does your new BB look like? And name and everything.
Yeah. He still keeps to the classic. He finds he still likes those classic cars. So it's something out of the 1930s, particularly, say 1938. It's very nice, classic sports car that fits for people, just nice. And it has a sleek black exterior, very nice chrome trim, and very nice leather hand seats. And it's one of the newer ones that have managed to put in a heating system.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, which is so it's like a set of baffles that open and just let heat pour in from the engine compartment, basically. Yeah, so I love it. My first Jeep had that. You drive. We're driving up, and we see the old Lilith estate. Lilith, what has become of the estate now that you are not there? Has she sold it off? Has she kept it as a memento?
It's still there, and despite the time, it doesn't look like deteriorated. It looks fairly well taken care of still. If you go inside, there's no people. There's no there's no really furniture or anything left, but it's clean.
Okay. So you guys pull up, and Beltane, of course, full wrought iron fence all the way around. What do you
I
do?
need you to open that gate for me.
Yeah, Zeke will do it. He has no problem touching iron, being around iron. Like, that's just the mines. Like, if anything, there's like trauma there, but not for being able to touch it. Just like shoots the lock off.
I feel like Dot like puts down her toolbox and starts digging through it to like find something to pick the lock, and then just bang. And she's like, "Well, okay, I guess that's one way of doing it." She like puts her shit away. And
I do like
gets
the
up.
image of it. She sets this down and starts opening it up, and just like meh, don't even see her. Okay.
Yeah, and he'll
Out
Excellent.
of the
throw
two of
open
you,
the gates, and then like you see him make like a waving motion with his arms, and he bows like he's a house servant to let the car in.
All right. You pull
Chuckles
up
to
under,
himself that the wards aren't strong enough.
pull up under the portico. I would say that you because Zeke has no fey blood or anything.
None.
Right?
No, he's a human who saw too much too early.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and you. I don't even know, would Zeke be aware that the fence was a ward?
I think that he's aware of the sentiment that iron keeps Fae out. But in his mind, that's not a solid ward. A solid ward requires like call and answer. It requires nails being put into jars buried underneath the perimeter of the house. Like there is like so like an iron gate. Like after this dude told me like I am beyond a reason, like I need you to open the door for me. Be like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just a haint. Like
Yeah, the old cowboy. You got to lay a lasso around yourself when you sleep outside, so snakes don't crawl over it.
exactly.
Those are
just in
real.
case.
Those are real wards. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So you get under the portico, and you walk to the door. Now everything's clean. Lilith, have the sidewalks been shoveled and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And if they walk in and go to the back, the garden is beautiful.
Okay.
There's
Yeah,
a big
in
ash
winter.
tree.
In winter.
In
though.
winter.
Okay. So,
Okay. It's still well taken care of. It's trimmed, and the
Okay.
few plants that should grow in winter are there, and they're blooming beautifully.
Okay.
Are the walks like shoveled?
Yeah, she said, yeah. So it's all been. So as you guys approach, the house seems like someone's taking care of it, but they see no one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you guys do?
Don't bother to take my boots off. That's not happening. Just strut on in.
Okay, so you go to the door. Is it locked, Lilith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Door's locked.
He knocks first.
No answer.
How sturdy would you say your door is? Like, would
Oh,
it
pretty
serve?
Mahogany.
Would it survive like a very well-meaning boot?
Oh
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure,
It's a sturdy, thick door.
Yeah, this was a mobster house.
Well-
so
Yeah, at that point, Unless
Dot,
Dot
are you-
or
I was gonna
Beltane
say.
can like pull out some lockpicks, he's gonna go start looking for ground floor windows that don't look too difficult to break in or climb through.
Do you offer? You say like, I got this.
Yeah, she'll say, put the gun away, Spurs. And she'll like she's managed to get her lockpicks out in this time.
Okay. We're not gonna roll for it. I think this is unless there's some kind of ward or magic lock or something, Lilith. We're just gonna say she gets in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
She does like do a low whistle and like comment on like the model of the lock, and she's all like, this is a pretty good one. It'll withstand a hacksaw for at least 5 minutes.
All right. And the doors open, and again, everything's clean.
Lilith. Hello,
yes,
Lilith.
thank you for inviting us in. I mean, we just broke into her house. It's fine.
I feel like if Belle's like, somebody needs to invite me in, Zeek takes like 3 steps in and just, would you like to come into my abode? You have permission.
It's not your abode, as
I
he
don't
walks
see
in.
anyone here telling you
don't own it.
otherwise.
That's not how it works.
Squatter's rights. It most certainly is.
No,
And so,
I'm not arguing the old laws with you.
so Lilith, is there anything left behind here that they could find, or would they find first, and then a could they find? Like, are there paintings of you still above the mantles or anything like that?
I would say so. There's still a portrait of her from the 20s. It's still painted, even though photography was a thing back then. It's just her sitting for a portrait in a very nice chair. And then there is, on the other walls, there is a portrait of what you think might be her, but it's from the back. And a taller gentleman, and they're standing in front of open doors that lead to a very lavish garden, probably in the spring.
All right. Did you guys, when you entered, did you close the door behind you?
I feel like Zeke would have. Like, because to him, this house is his now until anybody says otherwise. If somebody wants to come in, they got to ask him.
Perfect. Okay. So you close the door. Dot, you've carrying your tool case. As you guys are looking around, it's there's not much. I'm assuming like furniture's still here.
It's covered in like sheets for the dust.
Right. So it's the house has been put up or set aside. Until they return, it's got
And basically
dust covers over everything, and
it's like, we're going on a long trip, but we'll be back.
Yeah, when spring comes, we shall again move to the Hamptons. Okay.
Fucking snowbirds.
So yeah, let's go ahead and what you typed in the note there. So as they're like they get to the back of the house, they're looking out and they can see that these French doors lead onto this hedge maze and whatnot in the garden. And even though it's covered in snow, it's all kind of like ooh, kind of cool.
I feel like after they've been looking for maybe like 10, 15, 20 minutes, to no avail. Like there's pictures, like there's portraits of her, very kind of stately. Um, there's the telltale sound of heels on the wall, on the floor. Like you hear the door open, say you're like on the second or third floor, and then there's just the clicks and clacks of heels.
Zeke would have been underground having found your wine cellar.
Some nice vintage wine there.
Mm.
So he
Really
would
are the
hear it from
Harker
the top.
replacement.
What did you say, Dot?
You really are the Harker replacement.
Yeah.
I want to say that Dot is like busy looking at the portrait of Lilith, and like flipping through her monster book. And with her wolf's instincts, I want to say that she's the first one to hear the heels.
Okay.
So like her head just sort of snaps in that direction.
After a few steps in, you just hear a voice. I assure you this is the wrong house you want to squat in or rob.
And
Belle!
can we say Lilith is in the foyer there with the grand stairs and whatnot?
Yeah.
And Belle, let's say your second floor and the voice of Lilith reaches you. How does it wash over you, or how do you react to you hearing the voice of Lilith?
He's elated. He's found the person he met so long ago and has been tracking for a year now. And as he hears this, he comes down holding a teacup that he once used to have in the other part of him, the other timeline. And he just kind of looks down the stairs and tilts his head and says, Lily.
And that's where I want to end it.
Yay! I'm so
Save it for next week,
excited.
Satan. Save
Yes.
it for next week.
I'm gonna say this, not after that, but like
Sure.
I like to think that the scene is him walking down the stairs and it's the back of her.
Yeah.
And just when you see that she's about to turn, it just goes black.
Yes. Perfect.
Yes. You see the animation change, so you know her hair has moved, like she's about
Yeah.
to, but then just credits.
Yeah.
Some cool pop song going on in the background, but like drop down into like a lower register, so that way you know it's serious. Like every DC trailer, we're fucking here for it. I'm so happy that we are playing this game. I'm looking very forward to more Monster Noir in City of Mists. GB, this was an excellent first session. I love having you on the show. Where can we find you? What do you do?
Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and currently you can find me here. You can find me on Thursday nights. If you showed up here, you know where you're at, I hope. But in case you're catching it on YouTube, Thursday nights, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, Indoor Adventures. Or Sunday morning, you can find me on my channel, Greybeard Tavern. And I'm playing Wilder Myth, which is just amazing and a great role play game. If you want to come, you could even end up being a character in the game, because you can kind of customize characters and stuff. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sundays, or Tuesdays. You can catch me over on Lantern Noirs, where we do a happy hour at the Old Timer Tavern, where between the two of us, we have like 80 plus years of gaming experience. So pull up a stool, ask us questions. Every week we have a topic, but we're there to interact with people and stuff. And that's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. That's it for me, GB.
I think that's me. Hi, everyone. My name's Satan, or Alyssa Vamp on Twitter. You can find me here Thursdays playing Lilith again, and I'm so excited. Also Sunday nights in Fire with the Frost Maiden. And sometimes when we don't have a show, me and Indoor do some some co-op games. At least we started Operation Tango. It's really fun. Go watch
So
those
good.
VODs.
So fun.
So good. But other than that, you can find me this weekend. I believe it's the start of a new season for Plot Hunters. We have to have put off that for various life reasons of various players and GMs. But hopefully this weekend will be the start. So cash out if you like supporting all POC and LGBTQ plus spaces. Sunday mornings, I will be over at the Hobgoblin where I DM for my friends in my homebrew world, including Jen. And I think everybody here has been in that game. And I love them all for it. And I think that's it for now. I don't have a lot of stream games, but I do have a lot of home games. Yeah, that's me.
You next? Or
I'll
say
go.
this? Okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me at Danae Keener on Twitter. I've got my schedule posted there. And you can see all the things that I'm up to on the Twitch worlds. DanaeKeener.com.
Hi, I'm Jen. You can find me here on Thursdays playing Beltane. And I'm excited to get back into this old dog. He's great to play and I love him. And on Sundays, you can find me over at the Hype Goblins channel playing Anthony Silverhorn, the Drow, Artificer Barbarian, who's just, having fun being who he is and going through a midlife crisis probably again. But if you can't find me there, I'm on Twitter and at Laughmaker D&D, where you can see me post various games, various items and maps and minis that I paint. So see you there.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are made available for free to catch up on the audio cast. But for now, we are going to be going into our Patreon supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard. So I'd like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you to GB for running this incredible game. And thank you to these players for putting up with our bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.